The NFL season came to a close on Sunday night as a defending Stanley Cup defending champion Seahawks failed to get into the end zone when they chose to pass the ball instead of handing off to the beast of a running back, Marshawn Lynch.
And with the whole world watching, well, actually about 110 million, the Patriots intercepted that ill-fated pass, sealing their fourth championship in that Belichick-Brady era.
Yeah. We'll have a joyful Pete Torgerson and a new grandpa, Rocky Cleaver, on the hotline to talk about the big game.
The big game.
Here we go.
We even have a big game edition of Did You Hear About, with stories about Rex Ryan's new tattoo and Warren Sapp cavorting with prosecutors. With prostitutes.
Boy, I tell you, man.
It's a good thing we're not reading this because Glory Days starts right now.
Okay.
EatReview.com. Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, February 7th, 2015, and you are watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani. This is my good friend, Bruce Oler. Kyle Melnick, Ken Nielsen are behind the glass today, and you are joining us on the Enravio TV network, where we broadcast to the world from the Enravio studios here in the Village Music Shoppy in beautiful Mastic Long Island in the great state of New York. Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing okay. I do have a question, though, for the guys behind the glass. Since the big game is over, can we call it the Super Bowl now? No, all right, so we can't, we still can't. Anyway, so I'm assuming that you watched the game.
The big game?
The big game.
I did watch the big game.
You know, so all anybody...
It was the only game that was on TV, by the way.
You know, all anybody really has been talking about, obviously, is... the most ridiculous play in Super Bowl history.
Well, play call.
Play call.
I mean,
yes.
The execution wasn't there either, which kind of sealed their fate, I think.
You know what? The thing that got me about it was I understand that at that point, there were a couple of factors going on.
Yeah.
Okay, at that point, they've got in a goal line defense. So maybe what you do is throw a pass. But that pass, that's the pass you throw? Why not a little play action and a rollout or something that if it's not there, you could throw it into the stands?
It just seemed to me that the defensive back, Malcolm Butler, wanted that ball a lot more than Ricardo Lockett did, you know?
Well, you know what it is? They were ready for it.
Yeah.
They practiced it. That's why... it pains me to say. That's why Belichick and the Patriots win all the time. They're tremendously well coached.
Yeah. I tell you, it made me think, though, about other stupid moves, other questionable moves in sports, you know? Yeah. And there was a list of them, you know? I'm not going to go over all of them. They talked about Bill Buckner, you know, that basically, I guess in the previous two games, McNamara had pulled Buckner out of the game for a defensive replacement. And I think the guy's name was Stapleton, Dave Stapleton. And he didn't do that in Game 6. Well,
because he wanted him out there for the celebration.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now, you compare that to that same year.
Yeah.
Okay? When the Mets clinched the playoffs in '86, if you remember, Dave Magadan played first base because Keith Hernandez was sick. He had a really bad flu. Okay. But yet, Hernandez was on the field in the ninth inning. He said he could barely even see.
Really?
But he wanted to be on the field for the celebration when they won that game.
I see.
So in some cases it works out, and in some cases it turns out to be the worst thing ever.
That's right. Well, another one that came up, and I think there's a couple of shows that are on TV right now because it's the 35th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
Okay? And I can't say I remembered this, but I read enough about it that in the 1980 Olympics, the USSR coach Viktor Tikhonov, okay,
Tikhonov,
he pulled Tretiak, the goalie,
Right,
the
right.
world-class goalie, at the end of the second period,
Right.
and gave up 2 goals in the third. They wound up losing 4-3.
Right.
So
Right.
that's another one. But of course, Pete Carroll, he's no stranger to making bonehead moves.
No, of course not. He was
2006 Rose Bowl, he pulls Reggie Bush out.
Right.
They went for it on 4th down. They got stuffed, and they wound up losing that game, 41-38. So
Well, you know what? You got to remember, he was coach of the Jets at one point.
Pete Carroll, yeah, well, and New England as well.
So let's just listen. So everybody's asking them what happened. So Pete Carroll and the offensive coordinator Darrell Bevel, they spent much of the time this week rehashing it and trying to defend what they did. They said all the right things, but they're really trying to justify the unjustifiable.
The thing I find interesting is that there's a couple of people that are willing to take the hit on this thing.
Right.
Well,
Bevel took the first one.
Yeah.
He tried to take the blame. He stood up to all the press who were questioning who made the final call. Mm-hmm. And this is what he said.
Okay.
He said, "I'm calling the plays. I make the calls." All right?
Okay.
Now, that's a really nice thing to say.
Yeah.
Even though Pete Carroll had claimed that he made the call, okay, the coach felt that Lynch failed to score on 1st down. He brought the ball to the 1-yard line.
He gained 4 yards,
right?
though,
But he felt it was the right time to send in a 3-receiver set because the Patriots had brought in their goal line defense, right? So this is what he says. He said, that was part of the reason we sent that group in. When they send their goal line guys in, we have the advantage on the matchups in the passing game. Or some advantage. The Patriots were all over the play. They even admitted that they were defending against it that week.
You know why?
Because
they had filmed it in practice the week before.
Right. And actually, they said defensive coordinator Matt Patricia, okay, Butler during practice was getting beat every time on the play.
Oh, yeah?
And Belichick came up to him and said, "You got to be on that." And sure enough,
You said that to him before that play?
No, during practice.
Okay.
Said so. He says they worked on it, and immediately when they came up with that formation, they recognized it. And there's a really cool thing, and I'm going to post it on our Glory Days Facebook page. There's a cool clip that shows the end zone view, and just as they're lining up for the play, you see Butler go to. I think it's Harrison, who was the outside linebacker, and he whispers something to him just before the play. Because what was supposed to happen is the guy who he threw to was the inside receiver.
That was at Ricardo Lockett.
Lockett. See, he was the inside receiver. The outside receiver was supposed to stop
Like a pick
Butler,
play, like a pick play.
pick Butler, and then so they recognized it, and immediately the guy that Butler was talking to goes immediately to him and blocks him, prevents him from getting there.
Yeah.
And Butler jumped
the route.
Right.
He jumped the route. Okay, well, is Pete on the phone? No, we don't have Pete on the phone. Okay, I was going to say, on a phone is a man who's been partying all
Well,
week.
he has probably been
He's
partying
probably
all
still
week.
partying right now as we speak, man,
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Pete. Pete was going to come on and talk to us about
He might be shoveling. I think Boston got buried in snow, I think, the last.
Did they get snow?
Okay.
So we'll
He's going to call us back in a few minutes.
So
Okay.
anyway, that's what gets me about people like us who just hate the Patriots with a passion.
But I got to tell you something, when that miracle catch happened, I wasn't feeling so bad about the Patriots then. Actually, I was feeling pretty good. It was just about a minute left, I guess. They, like you say, they ran the next play for 4 yards. So they're down at the 1 yard line. And actually, when that catch was made, you saw they kind of focused on Tom Brady.
Yes.
And Tom Brady is going, not again.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying, man,
Well, you think about it, it was the same stadium. It was the same situation,
Yeah.
and that
And the
play,
same miracle catch, or unlikely catch.
I mean, what do we call that? They called it the helmet catch. Is this the crotch catch? You know what I mean? The other one was the helmet catch. But, it's obviously it's Monday morning quarterbacking. I was watching the game, but I didn't notice. Again, we don't look at things like that, but I didn't notice that they brought in 3 receivers.
No.
And I guess football. We'll talk to Rocky about this later. But football is a game of deception, and you have to try and outthink the opponent and do that type of thing. And you have everybody thought he was going to give it to Marshawn Lynch. Everybody knew he was going to give it to Marshawn Lynch. So I guess you got to say, well, if everybody knows we're going to do it, why would we do it?
Yeah.
Unless the fact that Marshawn Lynch is the best running back. Although I did read something that said this year there were only 4 times when he tried to get it in from the 1-yard line, and he didn't get it in 3 times.
Yeah.
All right, do we got him?
All right, so on our phone is a man who's been partying for almost a week now. In between shoveling snow in Boston, please welcome to the program our good friend, Pete Torgerson.
Petey, how are you?
Oh, God. You're not still drinking, are you?
What a week. Holy smokes, what a game.
I know. I tell you, when I saw you were going to be on the show, I said, you got to take us through what you were feeling from that unbelievable catch that gets made on the 5-yard line, and then down to the 1. You got to be saying, boy, oh boy, this is going to really suck. And then what happens? Butler intercepts the ball, and the Patriots are champions.
I thought it was the Giants all over again.
Yeah. I think Brady did too. You see him on the sideline, you see him going, not again. I can't believe this has happened,
Everybody, the whole. Do you see the videos of the people in Seattle watching the game?
Yeah, that was funny.
And then the people in Boston watching games. That's what it was. That summed it up in a nutshell. It was like, holy smokes, this is not happening again. And then you see the videos this week. Pete Carroll's like, this is easier than practice. We're at the 50, 3 timeouts. We're all set. Don't worry about a thing. Then he says, all right, we're going to run it. Then we're going to throw a pass. Like, attaboy. So.
I mean, it's just so funny. We were talking about before you came on about how prepared they were for it. They knew what was coming. Butler, I think the outside linebacker, I forget who he is, Butler whispered something into his ear as soon as they were lining up. So Butler recognized it immediately.
Well, Seattle said they're in a goal line. We're going to pass. And then the Patriots reacted, and there's a camera clip. The 2 defensive coaches, they start yelling, Butler, Butler, and he goes, run it in, because they knew what the play was. They had it set.
Mm-hmm. That's why we hate the Patriots, because they're so well coached.
They're prepared.
They are.
Pete Carroll was jacked and pumped. I have to laugh.
Yeah, well, you know what? It was funny when James came home, because James was obviously out partying, and I was texting with him back and forth during the game, especially when they talked to when they were down 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Seattle scored twice. It was like a 10-point lead or whatever it was. And when he came home, I said to him, he came home, and I said, listen, I says, how lucky are you? I said that they didn't just run that ball in. And he says, well, how lucky are they that they caught that ball?
Yeah, well, that's...
Right.
He's got a point.
Well, you know what? You do have a point.
He's got a point.
He says they don't catch that ball. He said they don't catch that ball. We're not even having this conversation.
Right. But when on that run, the play before that got him down to the 1, Hightower and Akeem Ayers made the tackle.
Right.
I was like, let him in, let him go, because there were like 50 seconds left then.
That's right. Well, they were saying that too. It was saying, should he call a timeout, or should he just let him score and then, basically, roll the dice on us getting the ball back and scoring?
Well, you know what? I read something interesting in Bill Simmons' column in Grantland. And Bill Simmons is a Boston guy.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Well, he thinks he is.
Okay.
Yeah, he thinks he is. He claims he's coming back to Boston. We don't want him.
I just read that. Yeah, they don't want him. But at any rate, he had a real interesting take on it. He said it was like it was a stare-down contest, because I'm sitting there saying, why aren't they calling a timeout here? Save the time so that Brady's got time coming back. And I think it was Belichick and Carroll playing a game of chicken. Belichick says, you know what? Even if we call a timeout, even if we let you score, I'm not going to have. Well, I think they might have had, one timeout and 40 seconds left?
Who? The Patriots?
The Patriots, if they scored. He says, and I got to go all the way down the field. I got to at least get 50 yards to get a field goal that might get made. Mm-hmm. right? So I think Belichick was saying, go ahead. Come on, we're going to stop you anyway. You know, we are going to stop you. That was the confidence they had, and Carroll blinked.
Yeah.
The other scenario was Lynch scores, grabs his junk, gets a 15-yard penalty. They kick off. They receive it on about the 20, run it up to the 40. One play, get it into like the 35-yard range, and
Then hope for it.
Kicks a field goal.
You know, what about the most ridiculous conspiracy theory that I heard so far was that they didn't want to give it to Lynch because then Lynch would have been the MVP because he would have had 2 touchdowns. He would have had 110 yards. He says instead he wanted, of course this is going through Pete Carroll's mind.
Of course.
He wanted Russell Wilson to get the touchdown so he would be the MVP. So the NFL really wanted Russell Wilson to be the MVP and not Marshawn Lynch.
And who said that?
I was just retarded.
Check his urine. That's all I can say.
People in their basements with too much time on their hands.
You know, it's just funny, you know, that they've got that they think that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
But in that particular moment, again,
That's
I
all
think,
Pete Carroll's thinking about. Is I want Russell Wilson to be the MVP.
Let's run this play so Russell Wilson will be the MVP. I don't know. Again, Pete, what do you think that? Obviously, if that play works, he's a genius.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
But my thought on the matter is if you're going to try a pass play there, because let's face it, if Lynch does get stopped, okay, they only have 1 timeout left. They'd have to call the timeout. And then they'd have 2 more plays left, 3rd and 4th down, and both of them would have to be a pass because you couldn't take a chance on another run. So
Well,
if
you
they
could,
don't,
but you'd be rolling the dice again.
right?
You know?
But
that might surprise people too. You know.
Did you see Lynch was 1 for 10 from inside the 5 this year?
Oh, was that 1 for 10? I thought it was 1 for 5.
Yeah, no. So
Wow.
I thought it was 1 to 10. 1
It
for 10.
wasn't
So.
the sure thing that everybody thinks it might have been. So I mean, if you're thinking, you know, you are a coach, you only have so many minutes to think of this and do it. Oh, I don't know. That's a tough call. What would you have done, Pete? Would you have done the Lynch thing?
I would have given it to Lynch.
Hey, I would have done it too. You know, I would have rolled my dice. He's the horse that got you here. You ride the horse. What you do?
Yeah, he could take a pile 5, 6, 7 yards. He is a beast.
I mean, he had the TD he had earlier in the game. He got stopped at about the 3. He just kind of fell into the end zone. Is what he did. You know.
Right. Hey, take away the last 2 minutes. That was a great game.
It was.
As far as drama back and forth, people making plays.
It was a great game. I mean, it started out, was it 14-0? Next thing you know, it's 14-14 at the half, you know?
Yeah. And, on the Patriots side, everybody contributed. Edelman, Amendola. Shane Vereen made that one-hand catch on that last drive. That was unbelievable play. And, Seahawks defense was supposed to be, so unpenetrable. But, oh, my God, I thought they did a nice job.
Did you see
Brady doesn't get rattled. Did you see him before the game? Let's go, guys. They score a touchdown. Nice catch. No jumping up and down, no being a dink.
Yeah.
Just getting after it.
Did you see the Twitter photo of the woman who had sex with Julian Edelman?
How about that? And now she's banned from every bar in Boston.
No, I don't think I saw that or heard that.
Yeah, so Edelman hooks up with this woman.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if it was a hotel room or it was her apartment or whatever. And she's doing a selfie with him dead asleep in the bed going, I just had sex with Julian Edelman.
No, she said, I effed Edelman.
I'm trying to make it look good.
And then she put seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, he's a single guy. He can do whatever he wants. It's not a controversy. But all righty, man, we're out of time.
So, Pete, congratulations. I will never doubt the Patriots again until next time, I guess.
They got to be the favorites going into next year.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you, every single person on this show last week, including Rocky Cleaver, and I think 7 out of the 8 people or 10 people that were in the audience, all said Seattle last week. We all picked Seattle.
Well, it's not like we're experts. We wanted to see Seattle win.
Yeah, I think it was more or less who we wanted to win.
Yep.
How about Dustin Pedroia picking the score right on the money?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
unbelievable,
wow.
too.
Hey, you know, Chris Iorio, who I work with, is my Facebook friend. He was one of only 3 people. 28 people responded to my Facebook post about picking the score.
Yeah.
He was one of, I think, only 3 people that picked New England, and he hit it right on the head.
Yeah. Well,
Very
I got to
good.
tell you,
Smart
my
man.
score prediction was based on my box in the box pool. That's really what it was, you know.
Hey, you know what? If New England doesn't score that touchdown, I get it exactly, 24-21
Well,
Seattle.
you know what? Right at halftime, they're like on a 6-yard line, looks like they're going to kick a field goal. I had 4-0. Okay, so I'm looking at 14-10, I'm going to be okay. And they scored a touchdown, it's 14-14. And then whoever had 4-4 also got the third quarter there, too, you know.
All right.
Unbelievable.
All right, man,
Hey,
we'll talk.
How's Matt Martin's face this morning?
He's not doing so good, man. He's not doing so good. Of course, they're playing the Bruins tonight. That should be a good game.
I guess we'll see how that goes
Yep.
tonight.
Yeah, I'm thinking of heading over there tonight. That could be a good one.
All
All right,
right.
enjoy yourself, Pete. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Pete.
All
That's
right,
our
guys.
good pal,
Good
Pete
job.
Torgerson.
Okay.
Congratulations again, Pete. We're just getting started here on the Glory Day Show. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to new Grandpa Rocky Cleaver.
Newly
about
minted Grandpa.
Newly minted.
Okay.
Remember, he wanted to be called Grandpa Rocky. About the end of the football season and what he thought of the big game. Later on, we'll have stories about Rex Ryan, his new tattoo, Johnny Football turning into Johnny Rehab, and Warren Sapp assaulting a prostitute and losing his gig on the NFL Network.
Yep.
Stay with us. You watch the Glory Day Show. We're coming right back.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
Numbers well. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you get punched in the But if you have this bracelet from InRavio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or the flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on the Enravio TV network. Last week on the Glory Days Big Game Extravaganza, this next guest was live right here in the studio, making the 3-hour trek from South Jersey to Mastic so he could sample hot dogs from New England and Seattle. Since we last saw him, he added a new credential to his already impressive resume of NFL player, German football coach, and the Alaskan High School Football Hall of Fame. As of Monday, he's now Grandpa Rocky. Please welcome back to the program, Grandpa Rocky Cleaver. Pops, how are you?
I'm doing fine, and the baby's doing fine, and my daughter Kelly's doing fine, so it's all good.
That's
is great.
Tremendous news. We saw a nice picture of you holding the little cherub in your arms. About the size, by the way, of a deflated football.
No, you're exactly right. I think 8 pounds, 11 ounces, so it really is deflated. But
You didn't take the pin out, though, did you?
well,
You know, they got that belly button thing going on. So,
yeah,
so how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it was kind of an eventful week, so it's cool to.
So,
I guess you saw. I mean, it is weird how, like, all of a sudden things are on Facebook or Instagram or something, and it's like, wait a second, I didn't really, release that photo for the public knowledge.
Yeah, so many people have seen it now, and we're not showing it on the air here. We're just talking.
Well, that's okay, but I mean, I'll have family members like text me or call me and be like, "Why didn't you tell me you're a grandpa?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't tell anybody yet."
Oh, really?
It's all over Facebook.
It's their own fault for not watching you on the show last week. They
Yeah.
would have known.
And then the picture of the young girl or, a roving reporter, they're like, "Wow, who's that hot chick?"
Oh, yeah, Chrissy, yeah.
Chrissy Bode, yeah. Well, we figured that you might get in trouble with that picture, so that's why we put that one up on the Facebook page.
We were talking
yeah,
about putting,
well-
maybe tape over your eyes or something, black tape, so we wouldn't be able to recognize you, but who knows?
Yeah.
So Rocky, I guess on Sunday you were having a Super Bowl party, so how did that go?
It was good. It was, it was a small group, and we kind of just stood around my island with a couple TVs and paid very little attention to the actual game, except for the big plays. But no, it was good, and really it was a great game. I mean...
We were talking, obviously everybody's been talking about that final play and justifying it. And from a football, obviously you're an offensive football guy. What'd you think about using that particular call at that particular moment?
Well, okay, let's go with, I hate to do this to you, but let's go first of all. I was watching something on the internet with Pete Carroll and how, I mean, if you watch him on the sidelines, he does wear headphones, but it's not like he's calling any play. He just kind of listens to what his coordinators are doing, and he'll ask them questions, and then he's kind of a cheerleader.
Right,
So,
he's not one of those guys holding that playlist and looking
Not
at
like
it.
Andy Reid.
Right, like Andy Reid does, exactly.
no, right. He's not covering up his mouth, worried that someone's going to read his lips because he's not really doing anything.
Right.
Yep.
Other than being the head guy, which I like. I think that's good.
That's why you have coordinators.
Exactly. So when the kid caught that ball, juggled that ball on the 5-yard line, Pierce.
Kearse, yeah, Jermaine Kearse, yeah.
He was all excited. That's a catch. And then he ran down, and he always would take his headphones off and yell, good job, way to go. And then he put his headphones back on, and they ran the ball, right? To the 1.
Right.
And then they showed him, and he said, okay, what do we got here? And then they must have said, right before they actually threw the pass, that, oh, we're going to do this slant, or whatever they did, quick post. And he watched, and then it was like he was totally dejected that happened, because really, not saying that if they ran it 2 or 3 times that they would score, but, I mean, throwing an interception obviously was the worst thing that could happen.
Well, I thought a couple of things. When we were talking about it a little bit before you came on the air. I understand that everyone in the world, probably 100 million of the 114 million that were watching at the time, thought that they should have run the ball. So that's probably the reason why you don't run the ball. But if you're going to do a play like that, why not a play action or a rollout so that if the play is not there, you throw it out of the end zone? That play that they ran, there's no time to determine whether it's going to work or not. You just have to run the play. And you have to hope that your guy catches it or it hits him in the helmet and bounces in the ground, something like that. There's no reaction time. It's just get the ball and throw it to the spot and hope your guy is there. But with a play action and maybe a rollout, you could throw that ball away. That's what I was thinking.
Well, I think we talked about coaches and how they outsmart themselves.
Yes, you did mention that last week.
Yeah, so, I mean, this guy, I'm sure that he thought 100%, I'm going to be the smartest coach as soon as we win this game after we throw a touchdown pass, and nobody expects it. Like, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Right. Well, again, the other thing that we were talking about was the time was running down. They only had 1 timeout left. If they run the ball there and he doesn't get in,
I thought he had 2 timeouts. They
only had 1 timeout left.
I think they had 1, just one timeout.
Patriots had 2 timeouts. Okay. And if they run the ball there and he doesn't get in, they have to use that timeout. Then they're only going to have, 20 seconds? And they have 2 plays left. They both have to be pass plays. So what he said was that they were going to do the pass to set up the run. Because now, if the pass didn't work, they could run Marshawn Lynch, call a timeout, and then set up for...
It's one thing for the play to not work. It's another thing to have the ball picked off, though.
Right, but that's why I'm saying you run a play that can't possibly be picked off.
Well,
right, and that really was, I mean, we've talked about defensive players don't always catch the ball very well. But, I mean, that was really an awesome play. I mean, that could be the best play in the history of the Super Bowl.
I mean, just the way he was, obviously they knew the play was coming. They saw it. They practiced it. But to be able to execute it defensively, the way he just got in front of that guy, he knocked him down, the ball was right to him, and that ball was moving.
Yeah,
That's a hard ball to catch. Yep. And,
that's a very difficult ball to catch, and it's not an easy throw. Like, I heard Chris Carter say that throw wasn't a great throw. It should have been a little lower. I mean, should it have been 6 inches lower, 12 inches lower,
Who knows?
It was a really good throw, but it was obviously a bad, a bad thing for Seattle.
So, but what did you think of the halftime show with Katy Perry?
I think I commented on, wouldn't it be cool to be one of those sharks in the costume dancing?
Did you see the one shark that was doing a different dance than the other shark?
Well, that's just it. Like, me and my buddy were sitting there, we were going like, we could be those sharks. Like, we're not great dancers, but we could go out there and do a good shark dance.
But I know we had a couple of people over. It wasn't a lot of people, and it wasn't really a true football crowd, and everybody was interested in watching the commercials, And my personal favorite commercial was they had a draft in the beginning of time for what animals would be each country's official animal, right? And when they got to Mexico, they had the polar bear, and the polar bear's going, please pick me, pick me, pick me. Which I thought was really clever. But the commercial
I didn't see commercials.
There was a commercial, a nationwide commercial, with a kid who says, oh, I'm never going to do this, I'm never going to do this, and then reveals at the end of the commercial that he's dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. That just brought the whole part.
Took the air out of the football, so to speak. You know.
Well, I don't even know. The one commercial I did see, and I was like, what was that? The actor Bridges, wasn't he?
Jeff
what was
Bridges,
he mumbling? Yeah.
Another one. I said, you're spending $4 million for 30 seconds. And that's what you put out? That's I don't know.
I mean, I thought it was a movie, but what was it, a .com thing or something?
Yeah, it was a .com thing, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what was that?
I don't understand. Well, you know what?
But it was a great game, and, that's where the experts come in, because I think a lot of us picked Seattle to win, and really, not that they should have won, but they were right there to win in the last second. And
you know what? That's why as much as we don't like the Patriots, we don't like them for all the wrong reasons. We don't like them because they're not the Jets. We don't like them because they're successful all the time. And they seem that and we want to make them out to be cheaters and everything. But man, what a great coached team that is. They are prepared.
Yeah.
They go in at halftime and they make adjustments.
And they also picked the right guys from a personnel perspective. You didn't see anybody look like they took a crap when they scored.
That's exactly right.
I mean, it's really a classless team, Seattle, all the way. Richard Sherman, making his 14. When Darrell Revis got lit up for that.
Right.
Well, he didn't get lit up. I guess he got picked by the referee. I think is what happened. Really,
Yeah, but either way, that's crazy, because Sherman's younger than Revis, and he should kind of look up to Revis. He shouldn't be trying to make him look bad.
Yeah.
And that's what he gets. Seriously, I think that's what he lost the game because of that. I mean, there is a certain karma in some things, which that doesn't really apply to sports. But when you do that, it's just like putting a target on your back to make you look bad.
Yeah. He's a jerk.
Because halfway through the game, I wanted New England to win. I changed my stance, especially because I saw the kid score the touchdown, and then he did look like he was pulling his pants down, and I said, wait, did he just act like he was pulling his pants down, like Randy Moss?
And you know what? NBC, I don't know how they pulled away from that, because we never
They were
actually
quick.
saw it.
Right.
They pulled away from it, and then all of a sudden there was the flag. And nobody really knew what it was. They just said unsportsmanlike conduct or whatever, the excessive celebration or something. And I didn't find out about what he actually did until the next day.
Right.
Yeah, because I did see the beginning of pants being pulled down.
Did he really pull his pants down?
No, I think
he
was
did start
miming,
to, the fake pull the pants down. He did start to do that, because back when I was young, it was okay to moon somebody. Remember, moon somebody from the school bus?
Oh,
it was
sure.
funny then.
Sure. And as we talked about after the show last week, I mooned somebody at a Met game, and we started a fight with a bunch of guys from Brooklyn, and we got our ass kicked. So I'll never do that again.
But now, if you moon somebody, it's like you're, a pedophile, and you got to go by Megan's law and report where you live the rest of your life just because you showed somebody your ass.
But man, could you imagine dropping a moon in front of 114 million people? Now that's a moon.
Well, now, did he get fined? You guys would know this.
Yes,
did he get
got
fined yet?
Like 25,000 or something. Like the highest amount that they were allowed to fine people. And he got fined more than the guy who threw the punch at the end of the game and got ejected.
Right. I was going to say there's a fight at the game too.
Yeah,
right?
but that guy who got ejected, he got fined something like 11,000 or something. But I think what's his name got fined like 25 grand.
Wow.
Because what was the playoffs are different than your regular season contract. So what was the winner's paycheck for the Super Bowl? Do you know?
I actually have that because we're going to have that.
I think it was like 93,000 or something like that.
We're going to have that in the story in the next session. The winners this year got.
I thought it was 93,000, and the losers got like 45 or 40, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't have it here. It's like 95,000. That the winners got. New England got like 95,000.
Okay.
And the losers.
Because obviously that's a pay cut for most of those guys.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
But all righty, man.
Because it used to be. I mean, it used to be like 70 and 40 or something like that.
No,
and then
it was a lot this year. This was the highest paid Super Bowl this year.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But they figured that the next one will go over 100,000.
Because I was hoping that Baldwin would get fined every penny out of the paycheck for that
Now,
game.
that's a good
So-
idea. That's what the fine
Yeah.
should be. Whatever your paycheck is going to be for that game.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
good.
a good idea,
You
Rocky.
see, you should have been the commissioner.
Gotta send that to
Yeah.
the suggestion box of the NFL, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind making $44 million in 1 year to, you know.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad, right?
And listen, all you got to
Yeah.
do is rule about domestic violence every now and then. You know, and it doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong on your ruling, you're still getting paid.
Yeah.
Well, that issue, I think, I mean, how tough is it to say, okay, you really shouldn't punch your wife in the face?
And
Like,
if
do you have to come up with a rule? Does it have to be on, like the new code of conduct is, okay, don't punch your wife in the face.
or at least don't get
Don't-
it on video.
Yeah, right.
All right, man, we got to go. Listen,
All
thank
right.
you. Thanks for coming last week, and thanks for everything. We'll talk to you again. And anytime I know you're working on a new business venture, you let us know. We talk about it for you.
And
Promote it.
maybe we'll
Good.
talk to you come the beginning of football season again. I think
listen,
we got something
the
else
draft
going in the
coming up.
background there. Yeah,
We
yeah.
got the draft coming up, and hopefully we can talk to you about some fantasy football. We'll get you on here whenever we can.
All right.
Whenever you
Just
want,
let me
my
know.
friend. All righty.
All right, see ya.
Good talking
Thanks
to
a
you,
lot, Rocky Cleaver.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
That is our pal, Grandpa Rocky. You know, we're going to take another break here on the Glory Day Show, and when we get back, we'll tell you some things that you may not have heard about in our "Did You Hear About" segment. You notice the way I did that.
It's did ya, not did you. Okay, okay.
Watching the Glory Day Show. We'll be coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit hansoncarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or a flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice, and we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
What's up, guys? We're Scared On Fair, and we're here with Enravio. If they catch you at a show with one of these bracelets, you will win $100.
That's a lot of money.
So get a bracelet.
Do whatever it takes to get that. Hit them up online.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco here on the Enravio TV network. We're gonna did you hear about segment now, right?
Right.
Okay. Remember the tattoo that Rex Ryan had of his wife Michelle wearing a green Jets jersey with the number 6 on it for Mark Sanchez?
That's right.
Of course, we all remember that. Right. Well, during the big game week in Arizona, Ryan stopped into the Old Town Ink tattoo parlor in Scottsdale and had the green jersey colored over in buffalo blue. Ryan was dressed in full Buffalo Bill regalia, a blue sweatsuit.
Yeah, it was.
Last year, when Sanchez was cut from the Jets, Ryan had the 6 blackened out on the jersey, but there is no word if he had a new number etched on the Buffalo jersey.
Yeah, he didn't black out his wife. He just changed the jersey.
Yeah.
I guess I was wondering, Sanchez is a free agent. He might end up in Buffalo.
He could. I mean, Rex always liked him, didn't he?
Yeah, Rex was a big Mark Sanchez supporter. But I think he blocked out the 6 because when Sanchez left the Jets, the 6 was the new punter.
Oh, I see.
And I guess he thought that was kind of ridiculous.
I see.
All right. Got another story.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to the sweeper?
Oh.
All right. Go ahead, do the sweeper.
Okay.
Any time for it? We love the sweeper.
And it was me that didn't give him time because I hardly ever say welcome back.
That's all right. We just love the sweeper.
We do.
All right. So NFL Network analyst and former Tampa Bay defensive tackle Warren Sapp. Remember Warren Sapp, the big giant guy?
He's on that Bud Light commercial.
Yeah, well, he was arrested Monday morning in the wee hours Monday morning by Phoenix police for soliciting prostitution and 2 counts of assault. Sapp's worked at the NFL Network since 2008, and he was handed a pink slip immediately.
Well, that's what happens when you hang out with prostitutes, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Would you be fired for prostitution? Well, for hanging out with prostitutes?
I haven't asked that question of my
Have you just not get caught?
Well, of course you don't get caught.
Is that like George Costanza? Is that frowned upon?
Yes, exactly. Because I'll tell you, if I knew that having sex
if
on
I knew that having sex on the desk was frowned upon,
I wouldn't have done it.
There's no wiggle room here? All right. So officers responding to a noise complaint in a Scottsdale hotel ran into a female in the hallway who said she had been assaulted. It seems that the woman and another escort got into an argument with a customer over money, and it turned physical. But the police reported that there were minor injuries on both women that were kind of consistent with a struggle.
Okay.
It turns out the customer was one Mr. Warren Sapp.
Oh, boy.
And although he admitted to an act of prostitution, now, I'd like to know what act he admitted to.
Probably paying them.
Yeah.
Although
I guess it's not prostitution until they get paid,
that's right?
We need a ruling on that one.
That's right.
Sapp then got arrested, and both women were arrested, but later on he was released. But he immediately got fired, but it wasn't immediately known if the prostitutes were also fired. Can you get fired from being a prostitute?
I don't know. Never been one.
You remember Sapp was arrested at the 2010 Super Bowl in Miami. He was choking his girlfriend, and then he threw her into the couch. But the NFL Network didn't suspend him back then. They just didn't put him on the coverage. It was like they had the whole Super Bowl week, and their main analyst was nowhere to be found.
I see. I don't know.
Kind of speechless, right?
Yeah, I am.
You know, you just figure that. But then again, you know, Warren Sapp is a very big guy. Maybe that's why he needed two.
I don't know about that either. You know? I would suspect there might have been either some controversy about what the payment terms were. Okay.
Yes. But, I mean, do you is it like a menu where you agree to it ahead of time? You know, I have no experience.
Well, neither do I, so I don't know, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, when you get your food delivered,
Yeah.
you know exactly what you have to pay. Mm-hmm. You give them a little bit of a tip and...
Do you tip prostitutes?
You know, that's a good question. Is it 15 or 18%?
I don't know, you know.
Kyle, you know a little about prostitutes. What... Kyle does not dabble in prostitution.
Tip in the U.S., okay.
Yeah, they love the dollar bill.
But, you know, a tip is for good service, though, right? You know, if you don't get good service, I guess it's a different story, you know.
Could there really be bad service in prostitution?
Ask Warren Sapp. He might know.
But Warren Sapp isn't talking.
Yeah, Warren Sapp is a sap, I guess. I don't know.
He is a sap. You know what? Let's go to our last break.
Okay.
All right. We're going to go to our final break of the day. And when we come back, we'll see what we learned. We'll wrap up. You're watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the InRadio.com TV network. Coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if InRavio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
All righty, welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce Disco here on the InRavio TV network. So, you know, what have we actually learned today other than to prearrange your amount of money for your prostitution business?
Well, I think one of the things we learned is we don't know a lot about prostitution, man, for one thing.
You know, what we really need to do is find out if there's anybody out there who has some prostitution experience. Maybe we could bring them into the studio.
Yeah, do a little case study or something.
As long as we can frame it in the Warren Sapp thing, it becomes sports related.
There you go.
Right? As long as it's sports related, we can talk about it on this show. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the thing I learned is that, you know, while Pete Carroll did did blow it, or the Seahawks blew it. They're not the only guys that have had some historical breakdowns in big moments. We talked about the Russian coach in the 1980 Olympics pulling the premier goaltender in the world. We talked about the '86 John McNamara pulling Bill Buckner in the ninth inning. Pete Carroll removing Reggie Bush in the 2006 Rose Bowl.
What was that baseball guy? Do you remember the name of the guy? Oh my goodness! It was considered like the world's worst bonehead play in sports. It was somebody did something. He ran around the bases the wrong way, or he forgot something. Oh gee, Merkel. Yeah. Something. His name is Merkel. I'd have to look it up. I'll talk about it next week. But I think this has replaced that. I think this because of. I think this has got to be right up there with Buckner. Well, when you think about the stakes, when you think about the stakes, I mean, it was a world championship. Yeah, you'd have to say. I mean, the botched handoff, the giant Philadelphia game. Right. But again, that wasn't a championship game. Right. Actually, didn't talk about Chris Webber when he called timeout when he had no timeouts left when he was playing for the University of Michigan in '83 in the NCAA championship game. Yep. Right, and that, and even the Buckner thing. The Buckner thing lost the game for them. Well, that was Game 6. It wasn't Game 7. But the game was tied at the time. Mm-hmm. So the damage had already been done before that play. So it's not like if he makes that play and gets to first base, Boston's the world champion. True. And again, it was Game 6, so it wasn't a deciding game anyway. It would have been for Boston. It forced the Game 7. Yes, that's true. It would have been for Boston. Mm-hmm. I guess it's kind of like not the Bucky Dent home run, because again, that wasn't a championship thing. Yeah. Even the Aaron Boone thing wasn't a championship thing. But I guess, Boston's had their fair share of those last minute things. Yeah. So the worm turned, that's all you can say, Johnny Manziel? Yes. Johnny Knucklehead. Johnny okay. Yeah. So he's into rehab now. Come on. Well, he checked into it himself. I mean, but basically he didn't have a good year. You know what I mean? He did get a chance to play. He wasn't very good when he played or whatever. Right. Okay. Then he didn't. Then for the last game of the season, I don't think he showed up. The team went looking for him, and they found him drunk out of his mind, I think is what they said, or off his ass, I think is really what they said. He acknowledged that he had been partying the night before. Uh-huh. And the only other thing I wanted to talk about today was Percy Harvin. The Jet. The Jet. Do you know how much money Percy Harvin made this week? Well, I guess he got to lose his salary. He got to lose his. He did. Berth or whatever. In 2013, this is what this guy's made. Besides his contract, which was for however many millions of dollars. In 2013, he played one game. Okay. And he got a winner's share. And he played in the Super Bowl, right? Right. That's the only game he played in. And he got a winner's share, okay, which was $92,000. But he has a clause in his contract that says if they if they get to the Super Bowl, he makes money. Wow. So he got money for for Seattle losing the Super Bowl this year. Whatever. That's it for this week's Glory Day show. Thanks to our producers, Kyle Melnick and Ken Nilsson, for all their hard work and making us look so good here. Thanks again to the lovely and talented Bonnie Schultz, who always tells us how much time we have left. And thanks to our hotline guest, Pete Torgerson, and that new grandpa out there, Rocky Cleaver. Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after week. And, of course, thanks to you, our loyal viewers. They're still out there. We had a big following last week. A lot of people watching. Oh, it was a good show last week. It was an extravaganza. It was an extravaganza. And don't forget, if you missed last week's show, you can check it out on our on-demand page at www.nravio.com. You can watch any of our past shows or any of the other great shows on the Nravio TV network. Don't forget. Just 11 days. 11 days. Just pitches and catches. Here we go. Starting to warm up a little bit, man. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.
nravio.com. inravio.com.